Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today we're talking about the 2017 P. Kennedy half dollar, a modern collector coin that carries the powerful legacy of President John F. Kennedy. Struck at the Philadelphia Mint, this half dollar continues a historic series that began in 1964 and remains one of America's most respected coin designs. Top 4. First up, the 2017 P. Kennedy half dollar is part of the long-running Kennedy half dollar series, which was first introduced in 1964 to honor President John F. Kennedy following his assassination in 1963. The coin quickly became one of the most popular U.S. coins ever produced due to the nation's emotional connection to Kennedy and his legacy. By 2017, the Kennedy half dollar had already been in circulation for over 5 decades, making it a well-established and recognizable denomination in American coinage. The P mint mark on the 2017 issue indicates that it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which is one of the oldest and most historically important U.S. mints. The obverse front of the 2017 P. Kennedy half dollar features the iconic left-facing portrait of John F. Kennedy, originally designed by Gilbert Roberts, who served as the chief engraver of the U.S. Mint. This design has remained largely unchanged since its introduction, symbolizing continuity and respect for Kennedy's image. The inscriptions "Liberty, in God We Trust," and the date 2017 appear prominently on the obverse. The design reflects Kennedy's youthful leadership and enduring influence on American history, making the coin both a tribute and a historical artifact. The reverse back of the coin displays the presidential seal, designed by Frank Gasparro, another highly respected U.S. mint engraver. The seal includes a heraldic eagle holding an olive branch and arrows, symbolizing peace and strength. Surrounding the eagle are 50 stars, representing the U.S. states, along with the inscriptions United States of America and half dollar. This reverse design reinforces the coin's strong patriotic theme and connects it to the office Kennedy once held as the 35th President of the United States. In terms of composition, the 2017 P. Kennedy half dollar is made of a copper-nickel clad composition, consisting of 91.67% copper and 8.33% nickel, with a pure copper core. This composition has been standard for Kennedy half dollars since 1971, after the U.S. Mint ended silver production for circulating half dollars. The coin has a diameter of 30.6, a weight of 11.34 grams, and a reeded edge. While it does not contain silver, it remains popular among collectors due to its design and historical importance. One notable aspect of the 2017 P. Kennedy half dollar is that it was not released into general circulation. Instead, the U.S. Mint struck this coin primarily for collectors, offering it through official mint sets and rolls. This practice began in 2002, when half dollars were no longer widely used in everyday transactions. As a result, many Americans rarely see Kennedy half dollars in circulation today, even though they are still legal tender. The limited availability in circulation adds to the coin's appeal among modern collectors. From a collector's perspective, the 2017 P. Kennedy half dollar is valued more for its condition and collectability than for rarity. While it is not considered a rare coin, examples in uncirculated or mint state condition, especially those preserved in original mint packaging, are desirable. Coins graded MS65 or higher by professional grading services can command higher premiums compared to face value. The coin also appeals to collectors who aim to complete date and mint sets of Kennedy half dollars. Overall, the 2017 P. Kennedy half dollar represents a continuation of one of America's most meaningful coin series. While it may not be a high-value rarity, it holds strong historical significance and enduring popularity. It serves as a reminder of President Kennedy's legacy, the evolution of U.S. coinage, and the changing role of half dollars in modern American commerce. For collectors and history enthusiasts alike, the 2017 P. Kennedy half dollar remains an important and respected piece of U.S. numismatic history. Next up, the 1991 P. Kennedy half dollar is part of the long-running Kennedy half dollar series, one of the most recognizable modern coins in the United States. The series was first introduced in 1964, shortly after the tragic assassination of John F. Kennedy in 1963. The coin was created to honor the memory of President Kennedy, and it quickly became a symbol of national respect and remembrance. Because of this emotional connection, millions of Americans saved early Kennedy half dollars as keepsakes, which greatly reduced their circulation in everyday commerce. By 1991, the coin had already been in production for nearly 3 decades, yet it was rarely seen in regular pocket change. The 1991 P. mint mark indicates that the coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. Interestingly, before 1980, Philadelphia coins usually did not carry a mint mark, but by 1991 the P mint mark was standard. The obverse front of the coin features a left-facing portrait of President John F. Kennedy designed by Gilroy Roberts, whose initials, GR, appear below the bust. The reverse back displays the presidential seal, designed by Frank Gasparro, showing a heraldic eagle holding arrows and an olive branch, symbolizing strength and peace. Around the edge are 50 stars representing the states of the Union. By 1991, the Kennedy half-dollar was composed of a copper-nickel-clad composition, 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a pure copper core. This composition had been used since 1971, after the original 90% silver, 1964, and 40% silver, 1965-1970, versions were discontinued due to rising silver prices. The 1991 P Kennedy half-dollar contains no silver, making it a base metal coin intended primarily for circulation. However, because public demand for half-dollars in daily transactions had declined sharply, most 1991 half-dollars were distributed mainly to collectors through bank orders and mint sets rather than heavy circulation. The total mintage of the 1991 P Kennedy half-dollar was over 24 million coins, which is moderate compared to earlier decades when mintages often exceeded 100 million. Even so, many examples remain in uncirculated condition because they were saved by collectors. In circulated, used condition, a 1991 P Kennedy half-dollar is generally worth only its face value of 50 cents. In uncirculated condition, especially in high mint state grades such as MS65 or higher, the value can range from a few dollars to slightly more, depending on quality and demand. Coins with exceptional luster, minimal marks, and strong strikes bring higher premiums in the collector market. Although the 1991 P Kennedy half-dollar is not considered rare, it holds historical importance as part of an enduring tribute to President Kennedy and as a representation of late 20th century US coinage. The coin reflects a period when half-dollars had largely disappeared from daily use but remained alive through collectors' interest. Today, it continues to be collected both by beginners completing date and mint sets and by advanced numismatists seeking high-grade certified examples. Its story is not about extreme rarity, but about tradition, remembrance, and the lasting legacy of one of America's most influential presidents. Next up, the 1990 P Kennedy half-dollar is part of the long-running Kennedy half-dollar series, one of the most recognized modern coins in United States history. The series was first introduced in 1964, shortly after the assassination of John F. Kennedy, as a tribute to the beloved president. By 1990, the coin had already been in circulation for over 25 years, and had become more of a collector's piece than a widely used circulating coin. The 1990 P version was struck at the United States Mint facility in Philadelphia, which is why it carries the P mint mark on the obverse front side. The P mint mark had only started appearing on Philadelphia coins in 1980, so by 1990 it was a standard feature. The obverse of the 1990 P Kennedy half-dollar features a left-facing portrait of President John F. Kennedy, designed by Chief Engraver Gilroy Roberts. The word Liberty appears at the top. In God We Trust is split on either side of Kennedy's neck, and the date 1990 is displayed at the bottom. The reverse design, created by Frank Gasparro, shows the presidential seal, an eagle with a shield on its chest, holding an olive branch and arrows in its talons, with a ring of stars surrounding it. This powerful and patriotic design reflects American strength and unity. By 1990, the coin was composed of a copper-nickel-clad mixture, 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a pure copper core, as silver had been removed from circulating half-dollars after 1970 due to rising precious metal prices. In terms of mintage, the 1990 P Kennedy half-dollar had a large production run, with over 22 million coins struck. However, even with this high number, half-dollars were not commonly seen in everyday transactions during the 1990s. Most were stored in bank vaults or saved by collectors. This is why many 1990 P examples are still found in uncirculated condition today. In circulated used condition, the coin is usually worth only its face value of 50 cents. In higher uncirculated grades such as MS65 or above, the value can range from a few dollars to higher amounts depending on quality and demand. Special proof versions were also made in San Francisco for collectors, but those carry an S mint mark and are different from the Philadelphia issue. Although the 1990 P Kennedy half-dollar is not considered rare, it remains an important part of the Kennedy series and American numismatic history. Collectors appreciate it as part of complete date and mint collections. Error coins, such as off-center strikes, double dies, or coins with unusual minting mistakes, can sometimes sell for higher prices depending on their uniqueness and condition. Overall, the 1990 P. Kennedy half-dollar represents a continuation of a historic tribute coin series that honors President Kennedy's legacy while reflecting the changing economics of U.S. coinage in the late 20th century. Next up, the 1989 D. Kennedy half-dollar is part of the long-running Kennedy half-dollar series, one of the most recognizable coins in modern United States history. The Kennedy half-dollar was first introduced in 1964, shortly after the tragic assassination of President John F. Kennedy in November 1963. The U.S. Mint decided to honor him by placing his portrait on the half-dollar coin, replacing the Benjamin Franklin design. The coin quickly became a symbol of national mourning and respect, and millions of Americans began saving them as keepsakes rather than spending them in circulation. By 1989, the Kennedy half-dollar had already been in production for 25 years. The 1989 D version was minted at the Denver Mint, which is indicated by the small D mint mark located on the obverse front of the coin, just below Kennedy's portrait near the date. During this time, half-dollars were no longer widely used in everyday transactions. Most Americans preferred smaller denominations like quarters and dollar bills, so the majority of 1989 D. Kennedy half-dollars were produced mainly for collectors rather than for general circulation. The obverse front of the 1989 D. Kennedy half-dollar features a left-facing portrait of President John F. Kennedy, designed by Gilroy Roberts, who was the chief engraver of the U.S. Mint at the time. The reverse-back design, created by Frank Gasparo, displays the presidential seal, an eagle holding an olive branch and arrows with a shield on its chest and a ring of stars surrounding it. The words United States of America and half-dollar appear around the reverse design. The detailed artwork reflects American pride and strength, symbolizing both peace and military readiness. In terms of composition, the 1989 D. Kennedy half-dollar is made of a copper-nickel-clad composition. Unlike the original 1964 version, which contained 90% silver, by 1989, the coin consisted of a pure copper core sandwiched between two outer layers of 75% copper and 25% nickel. This change in metal content happened in 1971 after rising silver prices made it too expensive to continue producing silver coins for circulation. The coin weighs 11.34 grams and has a diameter of 30.6 millimeters. The mintage of the 1989 D. Kennedy half-dollar was relatively high, with over 32 million coins struck at the Denver Mint. However, because half-dollars were not heavily circulated, many examples remain in uncirculated condition today. As a result, the coin is generally not considered rare. In circulated, used condition, the 1989 D. Kennedy half-dollar is typically worth only its face value of 50 cents. In uncirculated mint state condition, it may sell for $2 to $5 depending on its grade and overall quality. Coins graded MS-65 or higher by professional grading services can sometimes sell for slightly more, especially if they have strong luster and minimal marks. Although the 1989 D. Kennedy half-dollar is not considered a rare or highly valuable coin, it remains an important part of the Kennedy half-dollar series and American numismatic history. For collectors, completing a full date and mint set of Kennedy half-dollars includes owning examples from both the Denver and Philadelphia mints for each year. The 1989 D coin represents a period when half-dollars were transitioning from circulation coins to primarily collector-focused issues. Today, it stands as a reminder of both President Kennedy's legacy and the evolution of modern U.S. coinage. In conclusion, the 1989 D Kennedy half-dollar may not be a rare treasure worth thousands of dollars, but it holds historical significance and sentimental value. It connects collectors to the memory of President John F. Kennedy and reflects changes in American coin production over the decades. Whether found in pocket change, inherited in a collection, or purchased from a coin dealer, the 1989 D Kennedy half-dollar continues to be a meaningful piece of U.S. history.